So I told you to convert this data set into a frequency distribution. Any one of you are able to do it? Anybody?
What is the number of class and size of classes?
Sorry? Yeah. Anybody is able to do it?
Sir, classes will be like 10 to 20, 20 to 30 like this. And 50 to 60.
So first we have to arrange in numerical order. Then
सर पहले असेंडिंग ऑर्डर में सबको अरेंज करेंगे, उसके बाद क्लास इंटरवल बनेगी 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60 एंड सर 10 to 20 का फ्रीक्वेंसी होगा 3, 20 to 30 का 7, 30 to 40 का 4, 40 to 50 का 4, 50 to 60 का 2 एंड इन टोटल होगा 20.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही सर.
Hello.
Yes sir. सब आ रही.
Yes, sir.
So what this girl has told is correctly that we need to first, arrange the data in ascending order. So that is what is visible to us right now. Then we have to find out the range of data. For this, what is to be done is we subtract the largest number in the data set from the smallest one. All right. And then how many classes will be there? So do you remember I told you formula for this?
Maximum minus minimum by m.
No, to
Sir,
calculate the number of, yeah,
M is
5
equal to
classes.
under root n.
that's true. M is equal to under root n. But what is the n here?
And number of students.
Total number.
What is the n here? Any idea?
Number of observation.
कितने हैं वही तो पूछ रहा. What is the number?
20.
20. So if you take the under root of 20, what will you get?
No, sir, 25.
It is 25 or 20.
25.
Are you sure? I can count 20. Anybody else?
It's 20.
20.
Yeah, it is 20. 12,
It is
13,
20.
17, 21, 24. Yeah, it is 20. Now, if we 20, yeah, it is 20 itself. Now, if we, use that formula for calculating the number of classes, that is m, we will be using under root n. What is n here then? N is the number of data points. 20. So under root 20 is what? What? Under root 20 is
4 point something.
5
तो
point.
अच्छा
Point. It is something between 5, 4 and 5, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
4 point something.
So we took it as a 5. Select the number of classes. So we took it as a 5 classes.
5.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what should be the width? Remember the formula? What was the width formula for the calculating the class interval width?
Highest minus lowest divided by m.
So what is it? 58 minus 12 divided by 5.
6 by 5.
Right?
26 by 5.
So it comes how much?
9 point something.
9.2.
9.2.
So the problem with the formula that I told you earlier is that you will get the numbers in the fractions. It will usually not give the absolute values that you can directly use. So in spite of applying the formula, you also need to apply your logic. Since you can't have the range in fractions, or you can't have the class interval in the fractions, therefore what is required is that you need to round it up to the higher value. And that is why many authors or many teachers will tell you use a thumb rule that usually take the number of classes as 5, 10 or 15, something like this, depending upon the size of the data set. And then most common way of calculating the class interval is, using a width of 10. But these are the indicators, and you can always use either the formula or you can apply your thumb rule. You can do whatever you want to. Now, if you take the class interval as 10, then what you have to do is you have to determine the class boundaries. Class boundary क्या होना चाहिए? याद है किसी को मैंने बोला था स्मॉलेस्ट नंबर जो होगा ना, class width is 10 and class boundary is the lower limit and the upper limit. So in the data set, what is the smallest number? 12. So we have to start something below 12. So it will be 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. Okay, one more thing I would like to ask you. Suppose the class interval that we have defined is 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and so on. What is the concept of midpoint? Who will tell? What is the concept of midpoint of a class interval?
Mean value.
Sorry?
Mean value.
Mean of what?
Maximum and minimum by 2.
Maximum minimum of what? Yeah, you're right, but
Data.
you need to
Of
be little
data.
more.
Of data.
जैसे 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Of lower limit and higher limit.
See, you now know a class interval. So the class interval here is 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. we have 5 groups. All right. Is it clear to everybody? We have 5 groups. If we start the class interval from 10, since the largest number in the data set is 58, so we need to have the highest class interval is as 60. So midpoint is, central point of one class. Central point of each class interval. So what is the first class interval? 10 to 20. How to calculate the center point for first class 10 to 20? Take the average of lower class limit and the upper class limit. Midpoint is the average of the lower class limit and the upper class limit. So 20 plus
सर
10,
मतलब 20
20
plus 10 30
पहले का क्या होगा? 20 plus 10 divided by 2, that is 15.
2 15
15.
हाँ yes sir
दूसरे का क्या होगा?
दूसरे का होगा 30 plus 20 मतलब 50 25
Yes, like this you calculate the midpoint. Huh?
हाँ सर
अब
मिड पॉइंट इज एवरेज वैल्यू क्या
average value of the lower and upper class limit. क्लास का लिमिट क्या होता है यार? क्लास का लिमिट इज द लोअर बाउंड्री एंड द अपर बाउंड्री. Class limit is the limiting points of a class interval. The lower limit and the upper limit of a class interval of 10 to 20. What is the lower limit?
10.
10 sir
10 है. Upper limit
20
20. So what is the average of lower and upper?
15
15 ही 15.
अरे 15
So that is midpoint. Average of lower and upper class limit is the midpoint. Midpoint का जरूरत पड़ेगा आपको जब आप measure of central tendency पढ़ोगे ना. ये मैं इतना डिटेल में इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ because this will be used repeatedly now onwards. It is not only used for the creating a histogram. इसके बाद में जो एवरेज वगैरह मीडियन मोड निकालेंगे ना, everywhere it will be required. So you should know how to do it. So compute the class midpoint. So you have calculated the class midpoint now 15, 25, 35, etc. Last step का मतलब कौन बताएगा?
हर क्लास इंटरवल में जितने भी मतलब ऑब्जर्वेशंस हैं उनको राइट करना होगा. लाइक 10 to 20 के बीच में क्या क्या आ रहा है?
10 to 20 के बीच में कितने डेटा पॉइंट्स आ रहे हैं, है ना? तो हाउ मेनी आर कमिंग हियर? कैन एनीबॉडी कैलकुलेट एंड टेल मी? इस डेटा को देख करके फर्स्ट क्लास इंटरवल का फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या होगा?
3.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. हाँ निखिल टेल.
सर 12, 13 and 17.
हाँ क्योंकि लाइन से ही लगा हुआ है ना, असेंडिंग ऑर्डर में लगा हुआ है, तो यू कैन टेल. दीपक एंड सचिन, all three are willing to tell, but I think your answer is same. Sachin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you know. Can you tell me the frequency of last class interval, that is 50 to 60?
2.
2, sir.
2 रहेगा.
It will do.
Correct. So now whatever we had been discussing, this is the table you are supposed to get. All right. This is the table you are supposed to get. And can anybody tell me the meaning of 10 but less than 20?
We will not include 20 in this.
Yes, we will not include. It's a
Exclusive class interval.
inclusive, it's an exclusive class interval.
एक्सक्लूसिव।
क्या
Yes,
क्लास
sir.
में हाँ एक्सक्लूसिव क्लास इंटरवल ही है। So you got it now. Just look at this table and please someone tell me how you calculated relative frequency.
Is it percentage?
Yeah, it is sort of percentage. Percentage of what? Kuldeep Kumar,
Percentage of total
Priyanshi,
number of frequencies.
प्रेरणा प्रियदर्शनी, प्रिया मेहता, कहाँ हो आप लोग? प्रियांशी श्रीवास्तव,
Okay, sir. Frequency upon total sorry.
सृष्टि बता रही है ना अभी तो।
Yes, sir.
मैं पूछ रहा हूँ सोनी कहाँ है? सोनी कहाँ पर है? सोनी
sir.
आर यू देयर? हाँ
Yes, sir.
बताओ, व्हाट इज रिलेटिव फ्रीक्वेंसी? स्मृति शुक्ला, आप बताओ। स्मृति आर यू देयर? योगेश्वर यादव, that is the beauty of online class.
सर मुझे सारे में कुछ सिमिलर दिख रहा है सर।
Sir, ये into 5 किया गया 3 into
Relative
5
frequency is
10 6
calculated
5 30
on 1
सर
and percentage is calculated on 100. Relative frequency is calculated on 1.
Sir,
Sir, percentage divide by 100.
Frequency of the class interval upon total frequency.
Sir, frequency is multiplied by 0.5.
बीच में कोई स्टॉप नहीं।
Sir, will divide the frequency of individual class from the total frequency.
Divide the frequency by total number of data values.
नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन कितने थे?
कम जाओ, बात करें।
Is not there.
Relative frequency is nothing but just a percentage of frequency of a particular class to the total frequency. So 3 divided by 20 into 100 है ना?
सर वो तो 15 आ जाए
15 ही तो आ रहा है देखो ना.
सर 0.15 है
0.15 है.
Like the third, okay, you look at the third column, fourth column also, this one, percentage. Agar if you do not multiply by 100, so you will get the relative frequency. If you multiply by the 100, you will get the percentage of the data. So it is just relative, means the frequency of a particular class relative to the total frequency of the data. So how many respondents are there and how many respondents are there in the particular group. A relative frequency, to understand relative frequency, we express it as a percentage. But to draw sometimes relative frequency graph, we simply use the relative frequency numbers. But both are same. I mean, there is not much difference between them. You have to simply find out how many people or what is the frequency of a particular class to the total frequency.
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ.
I'm not
सर ये
getting.
जो मिड पॉइंट्स हम लोग ने निकाले थे उससे नहीं आंसर आ पाएगा
मिड पॉइंट तो
15 25
निकालेंगे.
करके
Midpoint is a different concept. Midpoint is also there. I'm not denying. Midpoint is a different concept. Like
Okay.
जो first group है 10-20 का, उसका midpoint क्या होगा बताओ? कौन बताएगा? If you also need to calculate the midpoint for this data, so what will be the midpoint for the first class?
15 सर
पहले का 15 होगा, दूसरे का कितना होगा?
फिर दूसरे का 25
25
तीसरे का क्या होगा? 70, 35
35
है ना?
55 yes
45,
sir
55.
yes sir
Midpoint
Yes,
is
sir.
different.
yes sir
Relative
midpoint is different
relative frequency का मतलब है कि उस क्लास की जो फ्रीक्वेंसी है, हाउ इट इज रिलेटिवली, what is its relative value in comparison to total frequency. That's it. It's a
okay
percentage.
okay
It's a simple percentage. If you confuse, you can simply understand as a percentage of the frequency of a particular class.
okay sir
अब अगर इसका
Thank you.
हमको हिस्टोग्राम ड्रॉ करना तो कैसे करेंगे? If you have to draw a histogram for this, how will you draw?